You know, someone's saying in trade chat.
Why would they buy shit off their bank hall when they could just mail it to themselves?
No, they're buying things off other people's bank halls.
Oh.
Yeah. So they're buying, like, they're fine. They're playing their character, and then like a bank alt in Orgrimmar will be like, you know, want to sell fucking Black Lotus, which is expensive. 100 Black Lotus for 200 gold each, which is a good deal. Somehow it's stupid, and they buy it, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But Blizzard is banning them because clearly that bank alt was part of like the real money trade shit, right?
What's real money trade?
Well, like you're buying money off the Chinese websites, buying gold.
Is that still a thing?
Oh yeah, in Classic it is. There's no in retail you can buy tokens, right? But in Classic you can't buy tokens.
So it's kind of funny that they brought back Classic and they brought back that old problem.
Yeah, they brought it's right back.
But you know, though, Classic's probably making them a decent chunk of change.
A little too Classic.
Yeah, Classic was a huge success. They're already moving on to Burning Crusade.
Oh, really? Like, but is Classic going to stay as Classic and they're just going to have a Burning Crusade one, or are you not going to be able to play Classic?
Probably. They put out a poll like a few months ago about like asking like how the player base would want them to do if they were going to do a classic BC server, like how you'd want them to do it. There's a couple options. There's like straight up new server, no bullshit, no characters, nothing. You start fresh. The other one was they just roll the classic servers over and then into BC, and then it just keeps going like it normally would. Or you could do like a boosted character on a new server. So you could pick like so it's a new server, but you get to pick a character that is automatically leveled to 58 or whatever, 60. Which that's the one I want, but see.
Because if they just change all the Classic servers to be Burning Crusade,
there's no more Classic.
Then it's not really Classic anymore.
Yeah. Well, I think what they're going to do is they're going to do a variation. I think they're going to do you'll pick a boosted character. So you'll what's
going to have to happen now? I might have to come back and play Burning Crusade just like I did back in the day.
Yeah, you can play Paladin.
Well, yeah, that's what I was going to say. Instead of a Druid, I'll just play a Paladin right away. And then when Wrath of the Lich King comes out, just straight on.
Yep. You can be overpowered.
I remember that time when I think we were at Chris's house and you guys just started playing Wrath of the Lich King. I watched and I was like, I'm going to go to EB Games. And then I went to go.
Really? Was that big of an impact on you?
Well, I was like, I'm done with WoW. And then I watched them play for a bit and I was like, I'm going to go get Wrath of the Lich King.
Oh, okay.
When did you start playing WoW?
When did I start playing? Like, Black Temple was already out for a while when I started.
Okay, so you're like right at you're like Sunwell kind
of. No, before Sunwell, because remember we were with Happy Ending or whatever, and we were doing like all those shitty raids.
Fucking trash can guild, yeah.
Yeah, so Black Temple was already out, but Sunwell wasn't out yet.
Okay. And then what, you didn't play Wrath right away?
I played it like literally 2 days after launch.
Oh, okay. And then that was the beginning of the end.
Dude, I remember I was still playing the Druid at that point, and then I switched to the Paladin. But
I remember the beginning of the end.
Chris was playing a Druid. Or not a Druid,
he was playing a Paladin. Yeah,
and then I remember like these guys tried to gank us. So I wanted to bear form and I was like tanking them, and then Chris was like healing me. Good times. And then eventually I was like, you know what? I'm going to create a Paladin. And yes, that was the downfall into Dark. That was my Frostmourne moment.
I do not play very much Classic.
Not anymore?
I mean, I still play. every week. I just only raid. That's all I do is raid. I don't log in outside of raid.
Raid login.
Yep.
Another classic experience.
I just like playing with the boys, and I don't want all the bullshit that comes with classic. 'Cause there's a lot of bullshit that people don't forget. Like people don't remember this shit.
Like,
Well, the problem with classic, and this isn't a surprise. Everybody knows what's going to happen. Classic has been a thing for ever. It's been a thing before Classic WoW, or the current Classic WoW, on private servers, right? So people have min-maxed the shit out of everything. Everybody knows exactly what the best thing is at all times, and everybody knows how to get the best thing. Everybody knows you need to do this quest, and you need to have Exalted Rep in order to get this best in slot, like fucking belt or whatever, right? All that shit. It's all known already. There's how-to guides before Classic even came out. And because of that, people min-max the fuck out of everything because that's all there is left, right? So back in the day, my guild used to clear BWL and MC in like 4 hours, maybe, like combined both of them, 3 or 4 hours. We do Molten Core in 45 minutes, and we do BWL in about 40, because it's so much different. Everybody, you know exactly how to do everything. You know exactly how to pull every single pull. You know exactly how to. You just know everything. You know the best way of doing everything. You come to raid fully buffed, which was not a thing in Classic. Nobody did that. Nobody came fully buffed because there's a lot of shit. Because it's just a pain in the ass. There's like, so when you kill Onyxia, right, and then you drop the head in Orgrimmar or Stormwind or whatever, there's a buff that goes out to everybody that's in the city, and that buff increases your crit rate by 10%, and does some other shit for attack power. I don't know because I'm a mage, so I don't care about attack power. When you kill a car in Zul'Gurub, you get his head and you drop that head, and then you get 15% extra stats and some other shit. There's flowers in Fellwood that if you pick them, you get 5% crit. There's buffs from Dire Maul that if you run around in Dire Maul after it's been cleared and you talk to all the bosses again that don't die for some reason, they give you buffs. Each one gives a buff. One gives 3% spell that crit, one gives 10% more health, and the other one gives some attack power. Nobody flasked back in the day. Now everybody flasks.
so why did no one do this back in the day, but now people care?
Because like I said, all that's left is min-maxing, and one of the things that you min-max is you min-max how fast you can clear shit, because that kind of is the only thing that's left that really tells how good you are as a guild, right? It's not about
Could it also
progression.
be
It's
that
not
you guys
about
are
like
older now and you don't have as much time to like clear shit for 4 hours? So it's like, fuck it, let's get like fully buffed so we can clear this because I don't have a lot of time.
I mean, maybe, but it's about, because back in the day there was no Warcraft logs, so there's a website and an add-on that you install that will track. It'll basically like real time record your damage meter, so, and everyone else's damage meter in your raid, and it'll put it on a website. It'll show literally everything about what happened in the entire raid.
So what you're telling me is players have gotten a lot more professional, and the level of professionalism and what's expected now is much higher than it was back.
Yes. And nobody gives a shit. Like, wow, you killed Ragnaros? Wow, like everybody's killed Ragnaros. Nobody gives a shit. That's not a thing. Like, there's guilds who the guilds that you don't join, or the guilds that are recruiting in trade chat, and then they say like 8 of 8 BWL. Like, what? Of course you're 8. If you're not 8 of 8, what are you doing? Like, nobody gives a shit. That doesn't matter. What you recruit on now is how fast you can do BWL. That's the thing that matters. just totally like, the meta of the game is like completely different from what it was. It went from like classic WoW went from this little MMO that like you just you get together with your buds and like you do Strathholm or whatever. Now it's like you get together with your buds and you farm Strathholm 100 times to get this ring. Like that that's the game now.
So what I think it is most of you guys have already done the been there,
I
done
haven't.
that kind of thing. Whereas, for instance, if I was to go play Classic right now, I've never experienced Classic, right?
Nope.
So to me, it'd be more like, oh, okay, this is kind of cool. Let me experience it, right?
Right. And the only reason I'm playing Classic, other than to play with the boys, is I want to do Nax because I never did Nax. I did Nax and Wrath, but it was a kind of like a fucking shitty version. Like it was same
Yeah,
kind of
what
thing.
kind of
And it was way like toned down, right? Like the classic Nax is like the real shit. The Wrath Nax is like the fucking. They needed to put Nax back in the game because 2% of the population actually experienced it, and they wanted more people to experience it, so they put it back. But that's why I'm doing, and to finish AQ40 because I never finished AQ40.
Were you one of the first guys to open the gate?
The gate's not open yet.
Oh, okay, are you gonna
No.
log in and be the first guy to ring the gong?
I'll probably be part of the event because I remember the event back in the day, and that would be kind of cool to be part of that again. But I'm not gonna.
You know what the cool thing's gonna be though? The servers aren't gonna crash with something.
No, they probably will. They probably will. They're having
Really?
they're having massive server problems. Not crashes, but there's huge server queues. There's server queues of like over like 2 or 3 hours on some servers.
How have they not fixed this by now?
So their fix is okay with Classic or okay no on retail they have they shard the servers out, right? Well, that was a thing in Wrath of the Lich King too, kind of. It's way more now in retail. But they shard out the server, so if there's too many people in a shard, they like spool up another like little part of a server, and then they throw you on there. So you could be in the same zone with people and have like another zone on top of that with another group of people, right? And they keep stacking these shards, right? And that's how retail works. But the problem with that is in retail is you can run from zone to zone and have people like kind of phasing in and out of like you being around you and stuff, and it's kind of weird. They didn't want that in Classic because they wanted more of like a Classic experience. So they didn't use sharding. They call it layering now. So on a server, they did this at launch and they're doing this now because everybody's home, I guess, for coronavirus, and the queues are fucked. Instead of sharding, they do layers, and they're very similar. But on a server, there's usually 2 or 3 layers, and basically it's like multiple servers that are interconnected. So you go on a layer, and you stay on that layer, unless you join a group to someone who's on a different layer. It's a little different than sharding. Sharding doesn't really work that way. You can like bounce between shards, right? In layering, you don't bounce. You stay on one layer the entire time because they didn't want people like phasing out and it being weird because it's like Classic and it wasn't like that in Classic.
Yeah, I thought Classic was like you just.
It was one big server. In Classic, it was one big server. So they in retail and launch for Classic, they had it on. So our server at the time, we transfer servers, but server at the time had 4 layers, I think. No, 3 layers. So there's ways to get around it by like inviting your friends, and like you can bounce between layers. And it got kind of exploity because so say a herb spawns on layer 1 and you're on layer 1 and you pick the herb, you can then go to someone else's group who's on layer 2 and then check for that herb. Oh, it's here too. And then you herb that one as well. And then you go to layer 3 and you herb that one as well. It's kind of like that's not very good.
That's not Classic.
Right.
I got you.
But they had no choice because the server populations were basically they didn't have enough servers. But they didn't want to have too many servers because they knew, 6 months, the population of the game is going to be a fraction of what it is at launch, and it is. So they only had so many servers, so they needed to have layering working. And then at some point, they were like, "We're going to turn it off," and they turned it off around like November or December, I think. But because of the whole fucking coronavirus shit, and the layering was off, so it was effectively one big server again. Everybody decided to play fucking classic again, so they had to turn layering back on, which has caused huge problems because back in when launch happened, there were no world bosses. World bosses hadn't come out yet, but now there's world bosses, and there's a world boss on each layer. So you can kill a world boss, get your entire raid to switch to a different layer, and kill the world boss again.
Common BTA
Which isn't
tactic.
like that. Usually, there's only one world boss per every like 3 or 4 days, and it'll spawn like within a window of like.
See, this is why I like retail WoW, as you would say, just because I found as the game progressed, it became more casual, and for someone like me that didn't want to put as much time in, I felt like it accomplished more. And
Couldn't they just like flag it after you kill a boss that whoever was in the group that killed the boss, you can't change layers for like an hour?
Standing by.
that would make a lot of sense.
I mean, I feel like that should be a thing.
Or just make it that not about. Just make it that you can't kill that boss again in different layers for like an hour. Like you can still switch layers, but you just can't.
So they didn't want to do that. They didn't want to lock you in on a server because they wanted you to be able to play with your friends. And they wanted you to be able to play with your guild. So they can't lock you in on a layer because then you can't do that. So it's like, how do you fix that, right? Like, I don't know. There's really no solution.
Bandits.
Can you imagine being that gold farmer that's been out of work for so long, and suddenly it's like, wow, classic's coming. It's like, well, kids, I'm going back to work.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically. And you know what? It's so okay. When I was talking about the bank alts and people getting banned for buying shit off bank alts, right? The thing that people are buying are Black Lotus. And Black Lotus, there's in every expansion, I think there's been a Lotus. It's always called Lotus. I don't know what it is in Burning Crusade, and I don't remember what it was in Wrath, but there's always a Lotus. It's not called maybe Black Lotus. It's only called Black Lotus in Classic, but there's always a Black Lotus. And it's to make flasks. It's the herb that you use to make flasks. Every single expansion has a fucking herb that makes flasks. And you need one thing per flask. But the problem in Classic is, so there's Black Lotus, and it's the thing. You need one Black Lotus to make a single flask. There's only limited spawns. It does not give a shit how many people are playing on the server. It doesn't care how many people are farming the Black Lotus. There are only so many spawns that go out. There's 3 or 4 maps. So there's Winter Spring, there's Silithus, there's Burning Steps, I think. Yeah, Burning Steps, and one other. No, is it just 3? I don't know. It doesn't matter. There's only like 3 or 4 maps that spawn Black Lotus, and within those maps, there's only 7 spawns for each map or something, 7 or 8, that spawn Black Lotus, and each of those spawns can only spawn every 3 hours, and there can only ever be one Lotus that spawns every 3 or 4 hours. So you see the problem. Each map can only spawn one Black Lotus every period of time, regardless of how many people are fucking farming them. So there's a limited quantity of Black Lotuses. Therefore, the flask prices are like fucking ridiculous based off how busy your server is.
So wait, so how do you make enough gold then to buy all this shit?
Mages make a lot of gold, or you don't flask.
Yeah, but you said everybody flasks.
A lot of people do flask. So a lot of the people in my guild, I don't, because I missed the boat. I still have flasks because I had a bunch before they were stupid expensive. But there were people in my guild, so there were Lotus tracker bots that we had on Discord, and you'd type in like when you looted a Lotus, you type in like I looted a Lotus, and it would like track, okay, like, oh yeah, Winter Spring is out for 2 hours. So it would like be popping up in Discord like, hey, there's a Lotus available in fucking Burning Steps in 30 minutes. So in 30 minutes, you'd go to Burning Steps and start running around trying to find the spawn, right? Because it's available now. And they did that for like a month. So some of the people in my guild have like 200 Black Lotus, which is more than enough. You only need one a week. So yeah, they're good for a while. I unfortunately did not do that. So I'm kind of fucked, but oh well. Such is life. But now, because the gold farmers decided that that's the best way to make gold, because it is, they now have all of the gold farmer people sitting on each of the spawns as like a rogue or something stealth. So as soon as it spawns, like, okay, the winter spring one spawned, there's one on the map somewhere. They have a guy at each single fucking spawn. It's the same spawn every time. Or there's 7 or 8 of them, right?
How do they make money?
Because in a single day you can make thousands of gold, and 1,000 gold right now on Classic is like $100 or something. It only takes 5 lotus to make 1,000 gold. Each lotus is 200 gold.
Yeah, but
Which is a fucking.
they're only making $100 a day.
Yeah, but $100 a day for somebody in fucking Vietnam is a lot of money.
Yeah, but how can they pay like each dude to sit on this? How many spawns are there in the world?
Let's go.
Well, there's, like I said, 3 or 4 maps. I think there's actually just 3 maps. Maybe 4 maps. I don't know. I don't know what the 4th map is. I have to think about it. And then within those maps, there's 7 or 8 spawns, maybe 5. It depends on the map. Some are different. I think Silithus only has like 5 or 6.
I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but I'd like to think that you could make more money doing something else with your time.
Maybe. The other thing that they do is
they have to pay for subscriptions for each of these accounts, don't they?
Right. So one of the other things that I've seen people talk about, certain people doing, is they have a hunter or a shaman, because hunters have eagle eye and shamans have farsight. They have a shaman somewhere on the map, and you can farsight from the farsight. So you can like warp around the map, like your camera can warp around the map using farsight. So you can check the spawns like instantly, right? And then you have a guy on a mount or a couple guys on a mount. You don't maybe necessarily need one on every single node, but you have a few people on a mount in the zone.
All right, let's move.
And they're like, oh, this one's up. And then they just like fucking run there, right? There's ways to like pretty much not guarantee a spawn, but like pretty high chance of getting it. And you only have to do that a few times to make $100 per day. Because as soon as like, so if you say you're in Silithus and you pick a Black Lotus at 3 p.m., you know that Silithus isn't going to have another Black Lotus until 6 p.m. So you don't have to farm there anymore. You can now go to Winter Spring, and if you get that one there, well, now you know the spawn timers of the Winter Spring one, and you know the spawn timer of the Silithus one, and you just keep getting it. You're the only one who knows when it's spawning. So it's basically really bad. They stopped doing those like limited spawns. Like, you know, I don't think Burning Crusade even has them.
What's up, boss?
Why don't they do what Guild Wars did, where like the admins show up and just kill you on the spot?
Yeah, that'd be nice.
I don't think they do that anymore, unfortunately.
See, I'm part of the Some Changes crowd. Like, there's a big crowd of Classic
Double time.
enthusiasts. Before Classic came out, there was like no changes to anything. We loved the Classic the way it was. Which is a stupid fucking attitude to have.
Purists.
I was part of the Some Changes crowd.
They didn't realize what it was like. So.
No, they didn't, and they didn't realize what it turned into, right? Like, it may have been that way in 15 years ago, and nobody knew what they were doing, but that's changed. So some changes. One of the changes that I would like to see is that Black Lotus now no longer has like set spawns, and it can be in a spawn like of any of the high level herbs. Just like replace one of the high level herbs at random. Now it's a Black Lotus, and you can pick it, and you know that would help immensely. Then you can just run around herbing. Oh, there's a Black Lotus, right? That's the way it is in every other version of the game after Classic, I believe. So, and it works well there too. And it like dynamically increase. The more people who are out herbing, the more Black Lotus have a chance of spawning because the more herbs are being picked, right? It just works. It just infinitely scales up.
So here's a question.
This system does not scale up.
Do people still play Feral Druids and shit, or no?
Nope. I mean, some do. But you're not going to get invited to a serious guild.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. Like now that like back in the day, like serious guilds, they'd still keep those shit around because it's like whatever.
Yeah.
But now people know that they're absolutely useless, so you're not gonna get like a feral druid or a ret paladin or anything.
You do get rep paladins, but not from serious guilds. You get paladins because paladins are the best healers in the game in classic. So there's lots and lots of holy paladins, but no rep paladins.
What
no
I'm
prop
saying
paladins.
is no ret paladins, no prop paladins, no feral druids, no
Boomkins.
boomkin.
You get one shadow priest, maybe, depending on your guild. One shadow priest only. What else don't you have? Oh, elemental shamans? No. Enhancement shamans? No. You only have like 1 or 2 hunters. We have 3, which is too many, but you only have 1 or 2.
But it's 40-man raids, right?
Yeah. So you only have 1 or 2. Right.
So what are people playing for DPS? It's just all
So
rogues?
our guild brings 15 warriors.
Wow.
8 mages or something. 7 mages. Like 5 rogues, 4 or 5 rogues, 2 or 3 hunters. What am I missing? Oh, and then like we have a shaman for every single warrior group and rogue group and the tank group. So however many shamans that is. And then a couple priests. We're horde, so we don't have paladins.
That's kind of ridiculous, and I guess it goes back to the whole min-maxing thing that you said.
Yeah, because warriors are the best DPS in the game, so you bring a lot of them. Mages are also really good as well. Oh, for warlocks, we bring how many warlocks? We bring right now. We bring 4 warlocks, which is actually a lot. But we're making a warlock group. That's why you bring the 1 shadow priest, because shadow priests put a dot on everything that increases shadow damage by like a bunch. So you bring 1 shadow priest. And that usually that shadow priest isn't actually a shadow priest. It's actually a disc priest that has some shadow talents, so they can get the dot. Ultimate min-maxing.
Yeah, gone are the days when people just played what they wanted.
Critical hit.
Yeah, well, so my guild, we're not like fucking super hardcore. It may sound like we are, but the GM basically said at the beginning of the expansion, or like before the beginning, like we already planned, they were fucking planning the ship like months before launch, but he said like, I don't want off meta specs, because as soon as you let 1 boomkin in, then you have to let an enhancement shaman, and then you have to let a feral druid, and then you have to let, I actually lied, we do have a feral druid. He's a tank. He's a bear druid. Then you have to let, then you have to let all these like not meta classes in, and then the raids go from taking 40 minutes to an hour and a half, and that's lame.
Got something you want done?
And everybody was like, yeah, it makes sense. Except Mike.
Yeah, but even in classic though, like feral druids, like as a tank, they weren't as good as like a dedicated tank, but their DPS was still better than an actual tank.
So
Wait, what happened?
I don't know why we use him as a feral druid. We do use him. He's like the main. He's one of the main like tank people. So we have 2 warriors, like main tank and off tank are a warrior, and then sometimes we use the feral druid as the off tank for reasons. I don't know what the reasons are, but we do use him. He doesn't DPS. He's always the tank. So.
Oh, I remember good times playing a tank in WoW. I was an off tank at one.
We have 2 Thunder Furies as well.
Wow.
You were part of our group that was going for the Paramount, right?
I was gonna get the Thunder Fury, but I never got a single binding in Classic. We got a binding on our first raid.
You have one now, though, right? Or you had one now.
No, I am a mage, so I don't get one.
I thought you had a warrior at one point.
I was a warrior in Classic.
No, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
Okay.
In Classic, I never got a Thunder Fury.
Hey there.
I also never got the Wrath Shoulders. Rip.
Also, back in the day when people didn't have complete tier sets, it was just a mishmash of it.
That's most people. I don't think there's a class that uses a full tier set now. Most of the best pieces are offset pieces.
In retail, or are you talking about
in Classic?
Orders.
I think some set bonuses are good. None of the mage tier 1 3-piece is good, and then after that we don't use it. I don't think we use a set piece after that. Everything else is like offset. pieces. I have it all. That's the thing with Classic, is it's all fucking. I have BIS list for like each patch. Like when ZG launches, this is your new BIS, and like when AQ40 launches, this is your new BIS. I have all that shit.
Min maxing, man.
Receiving you.
Here you go. Here's my cheat sheet. It's extensive.
Did you put this together yourself?
No. There you go. There's my cheat sheet. So on the list of raid BIS, we're at stage 4. So that's my current BIS list. There's like some enchants aren't out at the beginning of the game, so there's like some enchants that are starting now or later.
Well, looks like if you were truly a min-maxer, you'd be playing a gnome right.
Position.
I don't know what the best. There is a best, but I don't think it matters. If I was a true min maxer, I would be playing a troll because the troll mages is the best.
Scored a critical hit.
But I play
Yeah, but
undead.
then you have less mana. Your
Mana
spell
doesn't
crits
matter.
will-
Mana doesn't matter because it's not that
You
much.
only gain 20 HP versus like 100 and something mana.
Yeah, but 100 and something mana doesn't matter because mages have so many different ways of getting mana back. It's stupid.
Yeah, but then
I have literally never run out of mana on a boss fight.
you're missing out on 20 or 0.22%.
Yeah, but trolls have berserking, which is far better than anything.
Damage.
So is that what you play, a troll mage?
No, I played undead because they're cooler.
Fail.
I don't like trolls; they run stupid.
Who cares?
I care. I care a lot.
You're supposed to be a min-maxer.
Ready to rock.
What happened?
Not really, not me. There's people in the guild that are, but I'm not. If I was, I'd be farming money right now so I could buy more flasks.
What's up, boss?
Actually, I have a bunch of this stuff on stage 4. It's actually pretty nice. I have like half of it already. ZG just came out. But yeah, classic is just fucking. It's just hilarious.
Target acquired.
Richard, do you have fucking? You already know what I'm gonna say. Do you have
No.
one already?
No, dude. No.
Why?
Why? Because they're hard to get. I'm not even in clan space right now. It's like halfway across, literally halfway across the galaxy.
Commander?
Plus,
Dude.
plus I took out your thunderbolts.
What?
Yeah, I switched back to LRMs.
Wow.
I did a mission
Wow.
yesterday and you ran out of ammo, so I was like, nope.
Hey, well, that's just unacceptable, Richard.
You're doing a lot better with them
Go
though.
into full throttle.
Oh,
Engaging target.
Oh, fuck that guy up.
That's a kill.
Confirmed. Roger, Skipper. Taking it. Let's see what you got.
this weekend I'm gonna play Metro Exodus. I expect everyone to tune in.
It begins. How long do you think it'll take?
Yes, Commander.
I don't know. Not that long.
Are you just going for like the basic story, or are you doing like completionist type thing?
I think. The game's not really like Red Dead where there's like quests. There are, but like it's not really like it's more linear than that. So it's more they give you choices, like there's choices that you make throughout the game that affect your ending. And I didn't make bad choices. There are no bad choices, but I got the like quote unquote bad ending.
Oh, I see.
And so I want to see the other ending. And I know where to make those changes.
I don't suppose Metro has RTX enabled?
Receiving you.
It does.
Oh.
It's a really good looking game. As expected.
Yeah, but ain't no Red Dead.
No, but it has its moments.
So
It is a really good looking game.
so Red Dead, what I can't remember. Where did it actually end? Or has it? Has it even ended?
I don't know if you watched the stream, but where the last stream I did.
I can't remember. The last thing I remember you doing was I think you rode out to kill the guy that killed Arthur.
Yeah, that's the end.
Oh, okay.
On my way. Double time.
So now it leads off into Red Dead 1.
Oh, time to play that.
Yeah. No.
I thought you never played Red Dead 1.
It is. I haven't, but it's a fucking Xbox 360 game. No, I'm into it.
Oh yeah, that's never did that. They never did a Steam thing, did they?
No, they didn't.
I wonder if
I might play it if there was a first.
There you
If
go.
they put it on Steam, I might play it. But
I wonder if Rockstar is known for that kind of shit. Like, do they ever re-release stuff? I think so, right?
I mean, they re-released all their GTA's.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Well, yeah. So it's possible. It's possible.
I got you.
Holy shit. You guys got a lot of fucking anti-missiles.
It's kind of makes me mad in a way, because like if you look at a game like Red Dead, like that game is built to be played on the best possible hardware
Standing by.
with the best possible settings with the
Here we
you know,
go.
the-
Console rant incoming.
yeah, and fucking it's built to be played. I think is it compatible with PS3 and Xbox 360? I think it might be. And that's just a disappointment.
Yeah, that's a real thing. Is the whole Xbox? What was it? Xbox 360? Yeah, and PS3 holding shit back. That was like that for a while.
It held back. No, it wasn't built for the old ones. It's only built for
I copy.
the current gen. That's good, but still, it could be a lot better if it wasn't.
Target's taking a critical hit.
Oh my
It
god.
fucked over GTA 5 like badly.
Did it?
Yeah, it significantly reduced the scope of that game because it was built for the 360
Aye,
and the PS3. So it only had like 2 gig. They only had like 2 gigs of RAM.
I
So
guess.
they had to split the development off a few years ago because they
On my
couldn't
way.
handle
Double time.
a lot of the changes. So they just had to like drop development for the older consoles.
Target locked.
That sucks.
Yeah. Maybe if they stop making shitty consoles, maybe, you know.
Hostile removed.
Oh, it's a new gen coming out. Better shit.
See, the best thing about the new gen is not because they're built. It's not because it's, you know, new and powerful, but because it's based off x86, which means
Wait.
you can now just.
The old one was
What?
based off x86, wasn't it?
I think the Xbox One and stuff was, yeah.
For sure,
but-
both were.
yeah, I think they probably are, but if they keep doing
one
that,
is.
The
But they
PS4
keep
and
doing-
Xbox One.
I don't know if
Xbox
PS.
One is x86. The PS4 is x86.
Yeah. So if they keep doing that, then that means that backwards compatibility is just like infinitely a thing, which is good. Now they can
They'll
just
still-
if they
They're
wanted
still
to,
gonna
they can,
resell you everything though.
yeah, but you could probably play your old games on theoretically, you should be able to play your Xbox One games on the Series X if you wanted to. It should be a thing. If it isn't, then Microsoft's fucking retarded.
Unless they kill disk drives. But they
Yeah.
can't do that yet.
Not yet. But who's buying disc games, honestly?
Well, in that case, as long as their store keeps giving you the
Critical
old
hit,
game.
Commander.
Right, which is
Yeah.
very long time. Till the internet is no longer a thing and we come out with the outer net.
So I've got a couple of 360 games that just don't work anymore.
Like straight up.
Yeah, like Chrome Hounds isn't a game anymore.
Bye.
Oh man.
It's like a menu screen. It's great.
Well, is it because the online got turned off or something?
Yeah, because they had some like the whole point of the game was some online stuff.
Yeah, that's shitty.
On it.
Never get away from that kind of stuff.
Unless you're like, here's the source code, guys, go nuts. When you like kill the game.
They should do
they
that.
just put it on and they export it to PC.
Yeah.
Location confirmed.
Remaster them graphics.
At what point can a PC just emulate a PS3?
Oh, that's the problem.
Do we have the technology?
I've been playing GameCube games like this entire great. The Dolphin's like perfect now, it's great. I remember when it was janky as fuck in like 2000.
Firing. Enemy split.
You can play like Wind Waker in 4K, it's awesome. Got fucking HD texture packs for Zelda, what the fuck?
If a 3990X can emulate Crysis, I think it can emulate a PS4.
But can emulate a PS3.
I don't think yeah, I can't do the PS3. The PS3's too crazy.
Good one, Sony.
Fucking. I was listening to an interview from the guy that
I don't know, dude.
was like the founder of Factor 5, like the Rogue Squad. Apparently they were super neck deep in like helping figure out how to make games on the
For orders.
The 3990X
Roger.
is so much more powerful than literally any other CPU. Like, we're not even talking like... It is so far beyond even the next closest CPU, it's not even funny. It's like like, you don't usually see that kind of horsepower in like a single generation, like that horsepower gap. It's like it's literally like going from like a workstation system to like a server, like in one
What's up, boss?
CPU generation. Like, it's nuts.
On the move.
That thing is so insane.
Target acquired.
Like, it shits on the 3790 or whatever, like the next Threadripper down at like literally twice as fast. It's nuts.
Copy that.
You should build the consoles out of those things. Hell yeah, $4,000 consoles.
Man, you know they're going to like. There will be an Xbox One X squared.
Xbox Triple X.
They'll have like SLI or something and actually be capable of 8K gaming
Yeah.
in
Got
a few years.
It'll be $4,000 because they can.
Cage.
Because dollars aren't going to be worth anything until.
Dollars aren't going to be worth anything next year. What do you mean?
Oh man.
Ready to rock.
May as well buy your computer now before the riots start.
May as well run up credit
you
card
may
debt
as-
now,
yeah, you
so
may
that
as-
way your $40,000 of debt is like $10.
Now let's see how you handle this.
Oh god, it's funny, but it's
Ha! You like that?
also not.
Yeah.
May as well play. You may as well experience the end of the world on a nice computer. You know.
Federal Reserve figured out the cheat
Ready
code.
to get it on.
I was looking at graphs today of deaths and shit. It's not even It's not even fucking starting to
It hasn't
bend.
even started. Yeah.
It's still skyrocketing, and I don't mean like globally. It's like not
That's
any
right.
in any one
I'm
particular
upset.
country. Like globally, it's just like
Oh yeah.
it's a straight vertical fucking line right now.
Mhm.
We just had
They have
our
8 billion people, and like the nice, happy projections are like 0.05%.
didn't we just have like our highest day?
Like globally, yeah.
No, I mean, well, I just mean here in BC.
No, well, yesterday we had 70 new cases, which is
Commander?
That's because there was an outbreak at a poultry factory.
yeah.
Same thing happened in Alberta. They kept like this factory open, and whoever was supposed to be doing the health inspection
Roger
just
that.
like phoned it in instead. Like literally, they phoned in the health inspection, and then a bunch of people got sick there because
Target's
I
taking a
guess they weren't
critical hit.
maintaining distance.
Brilliant.
Orders?
There's people at the meat packing factory in Vancouver that just got sick. Like they were working, they went to work sick because
my
they couldn't
way.
afford to take days off, so they just went to work, and
Walking
there
on
was like
target.
25 people or something that were confirmed cases from that one factory.
Fuck's sakes.
Like,
No
six.
chickens were harmed though. Don't worry.
No, none. No chickens have
Waiting for
corona.
orders.
They also don't have heads.
Confirmed.
Does that mean they're
Yeah,
safe to
yeah.
eat?
If you assume like the happy, cheerful, like it's a 0.5%, get it, they die. That's 40 million people.
What do you mean? Those are acceptable losses.
Oh, it's just a flu, guys.
Wait, are you saying 40 million in the States or 40 million?
Globally, not in the States. In the States, I think it's 2 million. Is what they're talking about.
Yeah, I was going to say 40 million in the States would be a large.
No, 40,
40 million
is the world.
40 million in the States would be like biblical, dude.
Yeah, it'd be like we'd be like throwing nukes at each other.
Yeah, like states would be fucking like going to war with other states and shit. It'd
Keep
be
them out, yeah. You've got like 3 N95 max? Here's a nuke.
Seems like we're heading in that
Give 'em.
direction.
look. I think you know what. Sorry, Alberta. We're gonna have to. We're gonna use the Rocky Mountains, and we're gonna block all the roads and shit. We're just gonna cut BC off from the rest of the country because East's going fucked. And sorry, Alberta, you're on the wrong side of the Rockies, dude. Just gonna have to. Gonna
Yeah, but
sever
why would-
connection.
Why wouldn't you want to sever the connection further away? So like start in like Saskatchewan.
Increases the risk. And how do you sever the connection on a prairie? We only have to block like 5 roads if we do it at the Rockies. BC can fucking ride the shit out. We're good. We're fine. We'll have to put some armed guards on the borders because I think some zombies are going to start crawling up there from Washington. But
I thought Washington's doing pretty good.
I don't know. I haven't heard anything actually about
'Cause they're all
Washington.
zombies.
It's all like the United States in general and Trump being fucking dumb and shit. I don't hear about, and like New York, I occasionally hear.
The only
I think New
places-
York's pretty much done because
No.
pretty much all their people already died.
You just need to start injecting with disinfectant. Did you hear?
No, what you do is you take some bleach, you take some Windex, and you pour them in a bucket, and you
You
just
drink
huff
it.
it.
You just drink it.
No, you just huff it. It gives you some of that chlorine gas up in your lungs. That'll fix it.
Burns out your lungs.
Clean them right out.
Removes the surface layer of your lungs.
Look, if there's no lung cells to infect, you can't have coronavirus.
Yeah, think about this kind of
Checkmate.
things.
Atheists.
Now, the only U.S. states that have like an actual handle on this and then could like reopen in the next week did the contact tracing thing. Alaska and Montana. That's it.
Well, nobody lives in either of those places.
Exactly.
They didn't even need to shut down.
Alaska and what?
Montana.
Hmm.
I think Montana's had like 400 cases, period. They had one yesterday. They found one guy.
Well, you know what's in Montana?
Fucking nukes.
Whiskey Ranch.
The guy from Red October.
That's the correct answer.
I don't know his name.
Nuclear missiles don't react well to bull.
One ping. Ping only.
It's Marco Ramius, you fucking.
No, it was his second in command who's
Oh,
like,
second.
I'm
They
like,
changed that in the book. In the books, it's Marco.
like, I would like to go to
I
Montana.
would have
and
liked
have
to have
a
lived
wife.
in Montana.
So I heard a new rumor that COVID started through the Stargate.
Yeah, sounds like
hell
something
yeah.
Gould would do. Gould.
Fucking Goulds.
No spoilers. We're gonna watch that after Battlestar Galactica.
Oh, are we watching Stargate? Fuck yeah.
We're gonna need Hulu from you though. Is
Alright.
it still on Hulu? I don't know.
Yeah, it is.
Okay. Well, we're gonna need you to fucking stream it. 'Cause
Alright.
I don't
I
have.
don't give a
Hulu.
fuck.
I don't like. Actually, do not know where to get Stargate.
Dude, that's
doesn't
like
exist.
months away.
Dude,
Yeah,
I
it
have the
is.
DVDs, man.
We're not even done the first season of
Dude,
Battlestar
we're gonna
Galactica.
be like
I know, but
at home for a while.
we're gonna be.
Yeah.
Yeah. This. We're gonna ride this coronavirus out.
3
Watching.
seasons of Stargate on
We have-
DVD.
We have
Because
there's
that was the
10
Why are we-
seasons of SG1. There's 4 seasons of Atlantis and 2 seasons of Universe. We are fucking.
Okay, we're not
good.
watching Atlantis.
Oh yeah, get to the lockdown.
What do you mean? Atlantis isn't that bad. It's okay. It's not as good as SG1, but
Are we gonna watch the direct-to-TV?
You gotta watch Atlantis at the same time that you watch SG1.
you could do that. Yeah.
You got I'm serious. Like do it in the airing order, like because Atlantis came on right after SG1. Remember? For a while there, like on Friday
it
nights or whatever.
was. It was like heavily referred to in the SG1 as
Yeah,
well.
yeah. They cross pollinated. It was great.
I really liked the
Uh-oh.
first season of Atlantis, and then it got kind of weird. And then the guy from Enterprise was there. I don't understand.
Oh fuck, you was Scott Bakula. That's right.
No. That's
Oh,
not bad.
no,
The
no,
engineer-
not
the
that
engineer
guy.
Trip.
Engineer guy. Trip.
He was the
Trip.
Wraith.
Okay. That's fucking. Weird.
Yeah, it was really weird.
Oh man, Enterprise is fucking awful. God damn it.
I like the.
Why did
third
you
season.
remember that? Why did you? Yeah, it was okay. Have you seen what they were gonna make the ship look like, and if they kept going?
Yeah, actually, because it kind of looked like a shitty version of the Kirk ship, I believe, right? Had like a engineering section and stuff.
Yeah. They like slapped a engineering section on it. It was awesome. It was gonna be. Looks better than the fucking Discovery. Like, look at that. That's
Yeah.
that's sick.
That actually like looks like a Star Trek ship from before Kirk,
Yeah.
unlike the Discovery thing.
Discovery's just oh god.
There's nothing. I have no issues with that ship whatsoever.
Oh, it was awesome.
It looks Starfleet, and it looks
It's
good.
just the
Doesn't look
ratings
shitty.
died because it was awful for the first 2 seasons, and the ratings never came back, so they killed it.
Aye, aye.
Like, look at that thing. I think it was great.
What are your orders, Skipper?
Is it in Star Trek Online?
Yeah.
Of course it is.
Yeah, I got fucking everything, dude. If it was on screen for even like a billionth of a second, it's fucking in this game. It's crazy.
I believe you.
Aye, aye. Aye, yup.
I'm actually looking forward to watching SG1 again because it's been a very long time since I saw the whole thing. Like even longer. It's like before that. It's like the last time I watched SG1 fully was before I watched Battlestar Galactica. It's been
Okay,
like
so y'all gotta
over
watch
a
the
decade.
movie first, right? Like you gotta go.
Oh yeah, of course we're gonna watch.
boom,
Yeah,
episode 1,
100%.
boom.
I await your
Yeah.
command.
Yeah, I actually like the
And
movie.
you're like, dude, I talked to a guy the other day. I didn't even know that Daniel got recasted. He was like, "What? That's a different guy in the movie?"
It's fucking James Spader, the same guy
It's
who
incredible.
voiced Ultron.
Yeah, it's incredible that they like.
Is it? Wait,
fucking
is it
cast that
actually?
so well. Yeah.
Is it actually?
Yeah.
Ultron guy?
Yeah.
I need to confirm this.
The casting for the TV show was.
James Spader.
Then I talked to another guy who was like, "Nah, Kurt Russell's a bit
Nah.
better."
Kurt Russell did a good job, but nah.
I'm your spaniel.
Oh yeah. Dr. Daniel Jackson, 1994.
Commander?
I like how when you hover the picture over Dr. Daniel Jackson, under the James Spader section, it comes out with the other one, Michael Shanks. I think Michael Shanks was a better Daniel Jackson.
Yeah, I don't know.
But I like Richard Dean Anderson as O'Neill more, obviously. Of course. There's no replacement.
Right. You see what happened to Richard Dean Anderson?
Yeah, he got fat. That's okay.
He got fat,
He's having a good retirement.
like really fat, like really
That's
fast.
what happens when you become a general.
Like a year later. No, like not like general fat, like just fat.
Just plain old fat.
I'm here.
Like it's really bad.
Receiving you.
Ready to rock. Waiting for orders.
He is actually really fun.
Like it didn't go well.
Oh man.
Out of all the guys that you could get for a photo from the original cast, you get these guys? What? Who the fuck? I mean, I know who all they are. I know who they are, but like, really? Teal'c?
What?
Random
Is
guy
that
who
Teal'c
says
on the bottom left?
random guy who says Chevron 7 locked and encoded. Like,
No, that's like the best dude in the show. Fuck.
he's
10
like
out
the
of
only
10.
guy. And he's like the only guy that like
Ready for
went from season 0 to season 10.
Dude, he was one of the first Space Force meme dude.
I actually don't really remember the dude.
Yeah, who's the bottom right? Oh,
he
that's
like
oh,
takes
yeah,
over.
Yeah, I remember.
Jonas
I don't
or
actually
whatever.
remember that.
Jonas
Like,
Quinn, yeah.
I don't remember
You don't
that.
remember season 7 or whatever?
no, what?
What? No. What do you?
It's been like it's been like 15 years since I saw Stargate.
Oh, yeah. Oh man, season 1's pretty fucking rough, dude.
No, so when I borrowed your
Yeah.
Hulu, I watched up to like season 3 or something.
Season 1, you're like, man, Samantha Carter's a fucking.
Yeah.
But I like how a bunch of the movie stuff is still in there. Like they get spat out of it.
They get cold, I think, still too.
It's all cold and shit. They get thrown out. Oh yeah, the first episode had boobs. I forgot about.
Did.
Yeah. It was on Showtime.
That was actually Daniel Jackson's actual real wife too.
Hell yeah.
And then
Wait,
he
what?
divorced her. Yeah, the person who plays Sharae is actually Daniel Jackson's wife, like the real guy.
I know now. Now he's with the Andromeda.
Yeah.
Oh man, y'all remember fucking Andromeda? That
I
show
do.
sucked.
Unfortunately.
Like, oh my god, Gene Roddenberry. Fucking, what the hell?
No, it was Gene Roddenberry's son.
Yeah, that was like based off like a journal or some shit they found.
I remember watching that show like the first episode, the first airing ever.
It's so
Where
bad.
they like go to like the black hole and shit.
Yeah. I tried to watch it again and I was like, what the fuck is this? It was like, that's a different era of sci-fi on TV, man. Like, holy shit. TNG, you're like, oh yeah, it's Star Trek, whatever. Although I watched like the first episode of TNG like last week. Oh my god. Bad. Fucking 18 minutes into the first episode, the first time Star Trek's been on TV for like 20 years. French captain surrenders. Come on.
Against the Q.
And then like 2 episodes later surrenders again.
Didn't they have that episode of the Planet of the Black People?
Oh yeah, that's season 1. It's pretty it's pretty bad.
Oh man.
They kidnap Yar.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
that same season they have an episode where it's like a planet of white people that are all super nice and great. Like, what the fuck?
I
Gene Roddenberry, what the fuck?
I'm kind of glad that Tasha Yar died because it opened the room. It opened the door for Worf. And let's be real, Worf.
I mean, she
better.
kind of did and kind of didn't.
Yeah.
Technically.
Worf was
I mean,
like a second class character until she died.
Jordy's a fucking second. Who
Yeah.
the fuck even is the chief engineer in like the first season? There is a one.
There's some
It's like a
random white
different dude
guy.
every time. It's a random chick in the second episode, and you're like, who the fuck is this?
Yeah.
The only one that, and it turns out she's like the only one that's good at her job because everybody else gets fucking drunk. It's great. You're like, what the hell?
Bitch, where's Geordi?
Man, season 1 TNG is not great, but I like it because it reminds me of like original series shit. I love that corny old shit. It's great.
Yeah, but no one does it as
What
good
I
as
like to-
TOS does.
That's what I like about Stargate. There's never any corniness. Good. Not
Never?
corny.
I don't know.
Oh,
What are you talking about?
Isn't that, it's like serious right from the get go.
Okay.
What? I feel like we watch different TV
Like
shows.
serious right from the get go. I mean, they have like silly moments, but they're not corny.
Mm,
Position confirmed.
I mean, they have the episode where it's like literally a TV show. That's a good
Heading
episode.
out. On my
And
way.
of course, they have the infamous episode with Groundhog Day.
Affirmative, Commander.
That's a good episode. In the middle of my backswing. Richard, don't fuck this up.
I don't have the high ground on this one.
Roger.
I'm watching.
I had to remake a guy.
On the move.
Oh, that's not my fault.
It is. It's 100% your
oh
fault.
no, you had to remake a guy.
Move order.
What?
100% your fault.
Not my fault. I take no responsibility for this.
Coordinates
It's all your
received.
fault.
You wouldn't have had to remake it if you had the right Mac, and you don't.
Oh,
So
of course.
Can't believe you've done this.
It always comes down to that, doesn't it?
not Direwolf.
Why would you give me this nice hill, but then put the enemy all the way over there?
Confirmed.
Yes, Commander.
But SG1 doesn't get good until they get P90s.
Moving out.
Up until that point, what are they using? They're using like MP5s or
MP5.
something, isn't it? Yeah. I don't know if that's adequate.
I
Yeah.
got you.
I don't know. You ever been shot by a 9mm? Eh?
I mean, you're not shooting at people. You're shooting at people wearing giant gold suits.
Yeah. So
Affirmative.
Giant alien space gold suits.
Got it.
they don't seem to work too good.
Staff weapon was terrible.
Yeah.
Yup.
Teal'c makes it work, but
Makes it look good.
did you know that Teal'c voiced the guy in God of War?
Yeah. It's got that certain, I don't even know what to call it.
Boar.
What?
It's not a southern thing. It's an angry Greek god dude yelling at his son.
Ah.
That's a game that I wish was on PC.
Waiting for orders.
I should just get a
Well, too
PS4
bad,
and
dude.
play it.
Yeah, okay.
Stream it.
Why the fuck would I buy a PS4 ever?
It's
Why
perfect
would I
time,
ever
right?
touch a DualShock?
Right at the turn of the fucking console generation.
Why would I ever touch a DualShock? Look what the fuck is wrong with people.
Firing all weapons.
Yeah, it's an inferior controller. It just is.
Oh my
Just-
god.
it's just simple
PS5
facts.
controller looks okay.
No, because it has the same problems as DualShock does.
Okay, there.
They prioritize a D-pad over the analog stick.
Copy that.
This is not the Super Nintendo. Who
Firing
the
at
fuck
enemy.
uses a D-pad for anything other than like switching weapons?
This looks grabbable.
No, because your thumb is like too far down. on both ends. If the if the joystick was where the D-pad was and the D-pad was where the joystick was, then we might have a controller.
I'm just glad they spaced them out a little bit.
Need
And
something,
like
Chief?
the handlebars are like
Heading out.
chunkier.
I like. It does look pretty slick, I gotta say.
Ooh,
It
gotcha.
looks okay. It's acceptable.
Yes, Commander.
Until they move that joystick, it'll never be acceptable.
Like
Alright.
I could touch that and not want to die.
Engaging target.
I am glad that they're kind of. I think Sony for a long time kind of thought they were Porsche with the 911, and they just never change it ever. And it's like it's the perfect controller, when in reality, Microsoft's already found the perfect controller. Microsoft's building the Ferrari, and Porsche's still building the 911. And there's nothing wrong with the 911, but it's not a
Like
Ferrari.
look how good that controller is compared to the PS4 controller.
Yeah, no, the PS4 controller looks like it's from 1994.
But I mean, it took steps in the right direction.
Yeah,
Yeah, they finally have like concave thumbsticks instead of the fucking weird ass dome.
It's
Best controller ever. First Xbox. controller.
Oh my god,
Absolutely.
the Duke.
The fucking giant slab of plastic.
they
Yeah.
remade that for the Xbox One.
Like, there's a reason they like ripped off the smaller one for the 360.
they're like, let's take the Dreamcast controller and make it like 3 times the size.
I want
like
to
the
be able to chuck
Dreamcast
this at my
controller.
kid and have them die.
Dreamcast controller was good. I remember liking the joysticks a lot because I was just coming off the N64.
Jesus.
We're gonna make
Well, I
this
mean-
console for men, and therefore the controller has to be 3 times as big to fit their manly.
They need to be able to wear
In fairness,
gloves
but you
while we playing games.
sticking your hand into like a bag of razor blades is better than the N64 controller.
It really was. That's so bad. So they didn't know how to do that. They didn't know how to do controllers back then. They were
You
just.
know
they
what's
were
like
just,
actually pretty close to okay? The fucking GameCube controller is like it's like almost there.
That's not
Yeah,
bad.
I like the game.
Like if the C stick was bigger, that's a good control. You know what I mean?
Alright, but I'm ready to go.
But the button layout on the right's a little bit weird.
I'd like to point out that the layout of the GameCube controller looks an awful lot like an Xbox 360 controller without
Right.
as much meat.
Move into position.
Right.
Are you telling me
Just
Nintendo
saying.
did it first?
No.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but Microsoft perfected it. The Xbox One controller is the best controller. It just is.
Like of all the like shitty
I'm
controllers
sorry.
to play with an emulator on, this is like the least awful one.
Moving
It
out.
is the best controller, bar none.
Confirmed. Holding.
You can even customize your own colors now. Can you do that with
Wait,
PlayStation?
so
Fuck no.
what's the difference between the Xbox One controller and the S controller that came out
Not
with the
much.
original Xbox?
What do you mean, like 360 versus the One, or like which?
Well, just
No,
in
the
general,
original
like,
Xbox versus the S.
What?
It's Xbox 360 controller size and the button layouts.
Oh,
well, no. I meant like Travis just said that the Xbox One controller is the best controller, but I'm saying what's the difference between the,
Oh, the
S
D-pad's
controller that came out with the original
The
Xbox? Like,
the
is
D-
there really?
You.
yeah, there's a huge difference.
The 360
We talk
D-pad
like
was
Xbox
actually
One, the
awful.
Xbox One versus the original Xbox. Is that what we're?
No, the S. So the original Xbox controller came out, and they're like, "Oh fuck, we really fucked up." So then they released the S controller, which was like
Commander?
Which is
very
the one
similar
that-
to that.
You just linked Is that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've never used that.
It's a 360 controller in the hand, is what it feels like. Like
Yeah.
that's what the 360 was like.
Right.
They're like, let's make this and do a bunch of ergonomic studies.
Quick
And they
isn't it?
spent $300 million in developing whatever the fuck they developed.
They use that shit on fucking submarines, man.
I mean, I don't know. I've never used that controller
Receiving
on
you.
the original Xbox. I can tell you the difference between. I can tell you. I never had an original Xbox.
Acknowledged.
I can tell you the difference between the 360 and the Xbox One, but I can't tell you the difference between that and that and the 360.
On my way, double time.
What is that?
360?
It's a 360, bro.
Is it?
Yep.
Yeah, you don't
No,
remember?
you gotta show him the white
No.
one. He doesn't recognize it.
Oh
I
yeah,
don't remember going to recognize the dent in the top. What is that?
that's just
Didn't
what
it
it
go-
looked like, man.
I
No?
didn't know it had the dent there.
The
Okay.
so the
It's
wired
been a
one,
while.
the wireless one had the big battery pack and shit.
Yeah. Well, and that's also where they put the little microphone thingy, didn't they?
It's been a while since I used a 360. I've had a Xbox One controller for
Yeah.
ever.
See?
Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, so on that controller, the D-pad sucked a lot of dick.
D-pad was so bad.
And the bumpers were really bad as well. The
Oh, they're
triggers were
okay.
fine. Well, they weren't really bad. They're just not as good as the Xbox ones. The triggers were good. The joysticks were good. The buttons were good. The buttons haven't changed. Yeah. On the Xbox One, they just made everything clickier and more solid feeling.
Wait, are those? Did they keep the colors for the Xbox One controller? I don't remember.
No, they're blacked out.
Yeah, right.
You can go to the
that's the
you can go to
perfect fucking controller right there.
you
Oh
can
my
go
God.
to the Xbox Studio and build your own controller. Put your own colors and shit on it. It's pretty cool.
But like the Pro controller is like a fucking masterpiece.
It's also like $250.
Wasn't when I bought it. I don't know what the fuck happened.
Well,
It was like
the
$100
second
bucks,
one.
and I was like, oh, okay, cool.
They released the second one. That's what happened. The second one
Oh,
made it
no.
more expensive. There's a Pro controller too.
Oh
What's the difference?
I don't know. Looks very similar.
The only downside to this one is it doesn't have Bluetooth like the newer Xbox One controller.
That's
So you have
probably
to
one of the.
use-
That's probably one of the changes.
You have to use their fancy dongle to use it wirelessly. And the drivers for their dongle fucking suck. So I just run a USB cable.
Here you go. You can build your own. It's real fun. Yay! It's not even that expensive, really.
Affirmative, Commander.
I thought I broke my Xbox like Pro controller. Then I realized that the triggers have a lock on them,
Here we
so
go.
you can keep them from bottoming out. I was like, what the fuck is wrong with this controller? I can't go fast in the racing game.
Go.
Oh yeah, it's
My
really.
triggers weren't going all the way down. I thought it was like a mapping issue or something. I was like, what the hell?
So Corsair bought out Scuff, and Scuff was a controller company. Corsair bought them, and then Microsoft did that because that was like Scuff controllers' like claim to fame was that they had the triggers that had like the stop on it. So like if you're in a shooter, you can press the shoot button quicker, right? And then the Pro controller did that.
On it.
So now there's no point in buying a Scuff controller. Rip
Yeah,
Corsair.
I picked up a controller that feels better than an Xbox One controller.
On it.
I don't know how you're gonna improve on. Someone will figure it out one day, but like, ain't today. You know what controller isn't completely ass that I thought was gonna be really
Move
bad?
at full throttle.
The fucking like Switch Pro controller,
It's
Oh.
alright.
because it's just an Xbox controller. But with
Sorry,
the X,
what
the XYL.
What joystick layout does that use?
Yeah.
Is it
GameCube.
is it the DualShock?
No,
No?
it's the GameCube. It's easy.
Fine. You can say the GameCube started the best layout. It's okay.
Yeah,
I can
the
accept
GameCube.
that as long as it's not
Yeah.
Sony.
They're just kind of doing what they were doing since GameCube days.
I was listening to that like Factor 5 podcast, and like, you know what? What's really crazy? The 360 is just a fucking GameCube on the inside.
You know what's really crazy? The Pro controller costs more than an Xbox One controller.
I know, it's so dumb.
Good one.
I like when the
Nintendo.
quarantine started, I was like, oh no, I'm playing all these Switch games, and these like the shitty Joy-Con thing doesn't have enough battery life to last a day.
Doesn't it cost like it's fucking expensive?
$100, man.
Yeah. Buy an Xbox One
You know, it's
controller
what
for
comes
70.
it's what comes with it, right?
What comes with it?
Fucking
Isn't it just a
weird drifting
controller?
problems. What comes with it?
No, the fucking Joy, it comes with that. It comes with a little plastic thing.
Dude,
you
that
slide
thing's
them onto,
disgusting.
Like a shitty
Get that
Joy-Con.
out of my sight.
I mean,
It's awful.
no, I mean I was talking about the Pro controller.
Oh, it comes with a control
Yeah,
Right.
and a charging cable.
that's it.
It doesn't come with a power brick. It just comes with a charging.
All right, full speed.
You know where the fucking USB plug is on the Switch base station? It's like you have to pull a panel off to get to it.
Yeah, it's in the back.
I plugged it into my cell phone charger because it's a USB-C cable.
Got past his arm.
Actually, a really nice one.
I don't understand how these retro gamers, like a lot of these, I watch some retro gamer channels and they talk about retro game things. And they're always talking about how good the SNES D-pad was. And like I've
It was
felt the
That's-
D-pad,
Mama can hit harder than
and
that.
it's like,
no. You don't understand. It was like tactile.
well, they're like, it's the best D-pad ever made. It's like,
It was.
not anymore.
No, it still was.
Oh, the
it
Xbox
was
One
like-
X, the Xbox One
No.
D-pad's amazing. What do you mean?
Yeah, but it's not as good as the NES controller.
It's super clicky.
No, it's not
I
clicky enough.
love the D-pad. No, the SNES one is like mushy, dude.
Oh, it's perfect.
It's mushy as fuck.
Like, have you tried to play a fighting game on the fucking Xbox One controller?
That's like
No,
the,
you
that's
play
the
with a,
biggest
you
test.
play with a joystick because you're not an ape.
Who the fuck does that?
Who plays
Weirdo.
fighting games with a joystick?
Not me.
Yeah,
Well, I don't
who
play.
does that?
I don't play
Okay.
fighting games. Okay.
Maybe if it was an
Yeah,
arcade
exactly.
stick, maybe.
Maybe, but no. Like, still no.
But those kind of people, those people are weird.
Don't the pros use?
Yeah, I know.
I'm pretty
there's-
sure the pros use
No.
an arcade cabinet.
They're
Thing.
like, well, that's because like I don't know.
They definitely do. I've watched those fighting.
No, I
games.
This is
know.
awful.
I know. The hardcore guys do it all the time. What is that and why?
Is that a D-brand skin?
Like, you'd think that looks at least somewhat comfortable. No, that thing's garbage.
Yeah, I know. I've used it. It's terrible. I don't know what they were thinking with that. Like they could have tried a little harder. It's just a piece of plastic, and that's all it ever needed to be was just a piece of plastic. It just could be molded a
My
little
lord,
bit better.
why?
I've seen that too. Yeah. I gotta go to bed. Holy shit. Okay.
No,
Goodbye.
no, I got one more. I'll go.
No.
I gotta
Okay,
find
one
it.
more,
I gotta
one
find
more,
it. Wait.
One more. You have 30 seconds.
Okay.
One
I
more.
gotta find it. Where is it? God damn it. I know it exists. I've seen it.
Ready
Oh
to
no.
get it on.
I can't find it.
You have 10 seconds.
10 seconds.
Roger that.
Oh god, where is it?
Just tell me which one it is. And
Oh, I found it.
That hit something.
Oh
yeah.
yeah, atomic purple.
That's what we need.
That's not a thing?
No, Nintendo doesn't make that.
They should.
It's an aftermarket thing you have to do to.
Oh, that's not happening.
Good to go.
Yeah, like can you imagine? Fuck, man.
I mean, it looks surprisingly
I'd
nice.
buy that. I would buy a new Switch to have the clear purple
Standing
plastic.
by.
You're weird.
Dude, you wouldn't you wouldn't do that. That was like
No, I
the
wouldn't.
best in 64
Switches are
controller.
expensive. Switches are really expensive.
Yeah, dude, the pandemic or whatever made them crazy expensive. It's,
On the move. Full speed.
They're like $400 beyond a good day. Anyway, I'm going now. Goodbye.
bye.
Later.
Waiting for orders. Copy that.
Like, who the fuck thought this was a good idea?
People with 3 hands?
Like, like how? I don't know. Like, I mean, I get it. Like, you're like, okay, well, we need to add a joystick,
Here.
but we have our like classic NES layout. We don't want to mess with it. Well, let's just stick a joystick in the middle. Oh, that sucks the hole. Let's put a handle there. Aha, we're done. Send it.
It's like flight sticks. You have flight stick in the center, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, the only other like joystick before then on a home console was like fucking Atari and shit, right? That was just a fucking joystick and an A button.
I just wish the joystick was more durable. That shit, like, I don't know, didn't hold
Oh
up.
yeah, they just died. And you had to you would have to hold it in the center when you turned your N64 on.
Oh yeah. Mine had like I'm pretty sure mine had a broken piece. It's like rattling like a motherfucker.
Oh yeah. It was Like, this is the only other console I can remember that had a joystick. Like,
I don't even recognize that.
that's the Atari. That's an Atari 2600.
Oh shit, Ryan, you should. Oh, it's got muted. The fuck? That's like
Like
Ryan's
the
days.
original. I found one in the attic of my grandma's house. I was like, holy fuck. It was awesome. Played around with it.
That thing looks stiff as fuck.
It was. It's bad. It's really bad. Really, that's all I had, man.
Oh, yeah.
The one button.
That's all you got. That's all you need, man.
Confirmed.
We don't even know how to do scrolling yet. What else do you want?
I'm there.
A button on the top, maybe?
To do what?
Things? More things.
All we can do is like a static screen that has things move around on them. We don't know how to scroll yet. Mario hasn't happened.
10-4.
What else is there?
That thing looks stiff as fuck, but it was probably built like a tank.
Yeah, because they didn't know how tough they needed to make them. You know what I mean?
Like they probably all the models still work today. I would like bet money on that.
The one we pulled out of the attic still worked. I was like, what the?
Holy shit.
What's up, boss?
Just convert it to a
Like the
USB.
Atari. You just turn the Atari and off it goes. Well, you can't do that. It doesn't have a microcontroller. Like, it's fucking crazy.
Just have your Atari. The fuck?
Firing a full salvo.
I think there's a Commodore 64 in the attic too.
What did that even? Ryan, you seen
One
this?
left target.
What?
You should recognize these. Like I don't recognize these, but I think you should.
Oh yeah, I recognize those.
What is
Like,
even
fuck,
that?
man. It's the Commodore 64
It's like
game.
a fucking VHS with a cable.
I remember that joystick.
Like, what else we got?
Was there a reason why the cable comes out of the left side, not the center?
I don't know, man.
It's like, okay.
Oh,
why?
the NES did that too. That's right. The NES's cable came out like that too.
Did it?
Wonder
I don't even remember.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you're right.
I only know that because I'm looking at it on the Google search.
I fixed that with SNES one.
Yeah,
Aye, aye.
and dude, can you imagine like you've been using nothing but that like Atari and Commodore 64 controller and then the NES controller, and Nintendo's like, here guys, fucking 2 more buttons.
Critical hit, Commander.
Holy shit! Wait,
Blew my mind.
did the NES controller and Commodore controller have shoulder buttons?
The Commodore one did. The Super Nintendo did, I think. Right? It's been a while.
Yeah, the SNES controller did, but did the NES? I don't remember.
Yeah. No.
Is that
no,
before more
no.
buttons?
I'm mixing up like the modern ones that are like, here's your emulator controller. There's an L and R button just because why not? Like the Switch one has L and R on them, I think. Yeah.
Hmm.
The original didn't.
I don't
The original's
remember.
just a fucking box with some buttons.
You realize those controllers look so similar.
And it'll like hurt your hands after a couple hours.
We need like a timeline of controllers that'll go through. You can see like the evolution.
Standing by.
I bet you some nerd got a graphic. I'm gonna.
I'm sure there's multiple. I think I've seen one that's like retro style.
Confirmed.
Seeing the SNES controllers bring back good memories.
Do we even
There you go,
still
there's
have it?
something.
No. Remember somebody poured water on it?
No, that was our N64. Our NES should be fine.
Yeah, man, Apple tried to make a game console for a second. I think Linus did a video on it. Boomerang, man.
Oh man.
So you don't have to get up to get your fucking monster off the.
What's up with that Dreamcast controller? Holy shit.
Dude, right? Yeah, you don't remember that? There's like a little
No.
Tamagotchi on your fucking Dreamcast. I thought that was so goddamn cool when I went over to a friend's house. I was like, whoa, this is the future. Yeah, it's like, yeah, like you could put. I don't remember what he had the screen though, and I was like, how the fuck? That's when I learned that my parents were poor and his parents.
I wish I had a Dreamcast.
For all the like 3 games on.
Yeah, dude. Dude, all you need is Marvel vs. Capcom 2, alright?
Yeah. Look how boring controllers got after the fucking Xbox. Except for the Wii. God bless you, Nintendo.
Always trying new things.
You crazy fucks.
Well, and whatever the fuck that HTC one is.
The hell's that last one?
It's the Vive wand.
Yo, they don't have Steam controllers and shit. And what about the fucking... What was that Android-based console that tried to do a thing?
Ah, fuck. What was it?
I can't even remember the
Android
name
console?
of it. Yeah, I can't even remember the name of it. It was that good. It was like the Uno or something. I can't even remember.
I don't remember the GameCube controller looking that weird.
Oh, that's what it looked like.
Dude, as weird as it looks, Bobby's right. It's actually really comfy.
Yeah, if you just make the C-stick bigger and get rid of those like angled slats or whatever in there, it'd be perfect. You know, like it'd be a normal game controller.
I feel like it's partly the reason why Smash Brothers was so good.
Yeah. Like it's why that's still the Smash Brothers controllers, because it's a decent gamepad. Like ABXY is a little weird, but like.
And it had actual
buttons
triggers,
there
right?
for your thumb.
Or,
Yeah, it had triggers, but it only had one shoulder button. That was it.
that was the Z button or Z button, whatever.
Yeah, it had Z or Z or whatever.
I'm rolling.
It was a carryover from the N64 because they're like, we don't have a center one to put it on anymore, so we're just gonna stick it on the one
Put it
side.
on the shoulder like the PlayStation guys do. Hey, there you go.
I'm on him.
But not two, that'd be weird. Fucking Nintendo.
Yeah.
Yeah, the fucking VR controllers are weird. I don't know if y'all have messed with them before. Which one's freaking you out? Oh, yeah, that's the Vive's controller. It's got like a touchpad and like triggers on the bottom. So the lighthouses can like track. Yeah. So the lighthouses can track it. Like you'll see the Rift controllers are like that. They're just smaller because they use a camera instead, and they're supposed to be closer up. The Rift controllers were actually like, that's the reason I got the Rift was because I looked at the Vive wand. It was like, what the fuck is this? Like 90% of the VR games are like shooting games. Why the fuck would I want my gun to hold like that?
Yeah.
But yeah, you got to put the wrist straps on because if you don't, you'll end up throwing your controller. Ask me how I know.
How do you know?
Like in VR, you like, it's weird. It's really weird because every once in a while you forget that it's like you're aware that it's VR, but like the lizard brain's like, no, I'm just doing this thing now. Oh my god.
We playing VR or we're doing karaoke? What is this?
Oh man, it's PlayStation time. Dude, the one game I wish they would do in VR is a fucking Time Crisis. That'd be.
Oh yeah, I mean,
Yeah, remember those things? Like, holy fuck.
I'm surprised they haven't done like more of those style like on-rail shooter games.
The rail shooter, yeah. There's only a couple. Like, the one that comes with the Oculus is really good. I forget what it's called, though. Like, robot one.
Like, do they like tell me they have a House of the Dead? At least one.
I mean, they don't have a House of the Dead, but they have, like, one of the better ones early on when VR was a thing was the Arizona Sunshine was, like, fucking zombie apocalypse game. It's pretty great.
Roger that.
Stuff's a lot scarier when it's, like, in 3D in front of your face.
That's the point, man. That is entirely the point.
My favorite thing that happened to me while I was playing VR was, like, I dropped, like, a ball in the game under, like, did that thing you do where you, like, grab the desk to help you, like, get down under it, right?
Yeah.
But there was no desk there. So I just fell on my face. I was like, oh, right.
That's the thing, yeah, right.
Yeah.
Have you ever like
What's up, boss?
hit your head on something or whatever?
I was playing, what's it called? Super Hot, which is like that.
Moving
Y'all
out.
probably played it as like a Flash game, right?
Oh yeah, yeah, right.
But in VR, it's awesome because like the game only moves when you move,
Full salvo.
and like the slower you move, the slower the game goes. So you're doing like all sorts of Matrix stuff, and then like when you're like, I'm gonna punch this guy in the face, you punch him really quick, right? 'Cause
Yeah.
you want to do
Yes,
it,
Commander.
and I like punched my TV,
Holy shit.
and I was like, oh fuck, and I took the headset off.
Roger.
And it looked like it was fucking like cracked down the middle, and I was like, oh, like it was just white with like black lines all over it. I was like, fuck.
Oh shit.
And for like 5 minutes, like, god damn it, I have to buy a new fucking
I'm
monitor.
receiving
God,
you.
fuck, like you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And then I like knocked the headset that I put on my desk, and like the lines moved on the screen. And I was like, wait. And I picked up the headset, and it was just the game was like, that's just what the game looked like. It's like son of a bitch. Monitor was fine.
Got him.
Yeah, it's pretty great. It's fun. I'm gonna go get my Rift back from Tanner tomorrow. And play some more VR stuff. I wanted to buy an Index, but Valve says it's like 8 weeks before they'll ship one.
Alright, go buy some VR.
Yeah. Dude, it's awesome. I think the cheese still has a fucking Rift in his closet. Go steal it from him. He doesn't use it. Like, it's awesome. Like, actually go get it and try it.
I mean, I feel like now's a good time to use it. You're at home.
Yeah,
what are you gonna do,
I
right?
can't go anywhere else.
Receiving you.
This is literally the goodbye 3D world like meme.
Sad. Tears in your face. Like, ah,
Yeah.
Double time.
like a little webcomic or whatever. Dude, like, it looks like shit. Because, like, the screens aren't good enough, or at least they weren't on the Rift. But, like, it's just good enough where you're, like, you can do the thing where your brain, like,
Scored a
forgets that
critical
it's doing the VR thing.
Are you saying it doesn't
great.
take much to trick your brain?
No, like you know intellectually, like, there's a video game or whatever, right? But, like,
Yeah.
that doesn't, if you play Alien Isolation in VR, you're like, oh, Jesus, fuck.
Oh god. Oh,
You know what I mean?
God. I forgot that was the thing.
Yeah.
Dude, I wanna. Oh god, I would pay money to see Cheesy play that in VR. He doesn't even play it regularly.
He doesn't want to play it regular. Or fucking Subnautica. You can play Subnautica in VR.
Oh, that'd be a good one, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you do it with, like, an Xbox controller, like, sitting down, but you still, like, are looking around, and you're like, oh, fuck, it's a sea monster. Elite Dangerous is great. Unless you get, like, seasick.
Oh, alright, right, it's your game.
Apparently
Nope.
Orders.
that fucked Travis up.
Did it really? Man, it
Yeah,
takes a
it's
lot.
like it gives him motion sickness when he plays Elite because
Oh,
it's in
man.
space. And like you look out and there's it's space. There's like infinite emptiness in front of you because it's 3D. You know, looking around, and Elite's a really good looking VR game because there's nothing to render, so they can make it.
I can
We're playing that game.
I can see how it'd make you sick though.
Yeah, and like the ships can spin and spin and spin and spin, and you're like, your brain sees that everything's spinning, and your gut says, "No, I'm just sitting still." and that like disconnect can mess with some people. Or like the first time I played like a game that you could like move yourself around without using the teleporting stuff or like walking around. The first couple of times you try that, moving with a joystick while you're just standing up in your room, it's fucking weird.
Oh, jeez.
Because your brain's like, I'm moving right now, but I'm not moving right now. This is.
I really want to try one of those rigs that, like, you know, you strap around your waist and it's kind of got that, like...
treadmill. Yeah.
Yeah.
But then you couldn't do like the bending over and stuff that you needed. Like you get used to the VR leg thing,
How's it going?
but it takes a while. Fucking Onward's pretty great because that's like Arma but in VR, which is pretty wild.
Ryan, did you play Tarkov in VR?
Probably
Oh,
not.
Reporting critical hit.
There's like a Counter-Strike clone in VR that's pretty good.
What's it called?
It's called Pavlov.
Copy that, Commander. Fire it.
I think it's like literally Counter-Strike maps in VR. It's cool.
Looks like I'll need a new target.
Fallout 4 is in VR, which is pretty wild.
How does it? I guess how could that work?
It works pretty good because like the Bethesda games, like all the items are already like physical, like they have physics and everything anyways, right?
Yeah. I was just like,
So they're just like, oh, when you're looting stuff, you just like pick it up and you're like, oh, okay, look at that. Well, it's so much easier to loot in that in VR because you like look around a room, you're like, oh, there's what I need.
Oh man, they need to come out with those. They got those prototype gauntlet thingies that have haptic feedback on them.
Oh yeah,
I want to.
like that's what I'm waiting for, is like the full like all the way in ones.
Yeah.
I don't know if the money's there for it though.
Yeah.
I could just imagine. Fuck, whenever I see one of those things, like, what if one of them goes like fucking wonky on shit and bends your finger the wrong way? That's gonna happen.
Position confirmed.
The better like sword fighting VR games just don't even bother to be like realistic. Because there's not a good way to do it.
Nice. Got fast design.
Isn't there? I thought there was like a gladiator style one.
Yeah, Gorn's great. The index controller looks pretty good. It's got like little sensors that can see your fingers
Kind of
and like the little wrist strap thing, so it keeps it on you, so you just like grab stuff with the controller.
Yeah, that looks pretty good actually. What about? Do they have Mountain Blade VR?
I don't think so. I'm sure. I mean, okay, no, they do have like like the combat system in Mountain Blade.
Yeah.
There's a couple of games that have done that in VR,
Okay.
and it's pretty awesome. Can't remember what the big one's called,
Skipper.
but it's pretty funny to watch people play.
I figured that might be like that would probably lend itself pretty well.
You got it.
I think my favorite like VR thing that you can't do in any other kind of are the ones that play with your sense of scale,
Standing by.
like of you, like how big you are.
Oh yeah, like so like let's say you're like a really big dude and you're looking at little tiny things, for instance.
Yeah, you play like I played one game where you're like fucking Godzilla and you're just running around, stomping around a city and like smashing buildings and stuff. It's great. And then like I played one game where like it was completely unrelated. Like it wasn't the main point of the game. You just walked into like a little wizard's like study or whatever. And you started like looking through all this shit. And you picked up this little ball. And when you looked at the ball, everything in the room like got huge, and you were tiny standing on the deck. And I was like, what?
Dude, that's fucking crazy.
Yeah. Like you look up and this fucking giant mouse comes up to you, you're like, what the fuck?
Oh, that's cool. That's like it's almost like an interactive tech demo.
Yeah. Oh, I think it was in the Steam, like the lab or whatever, the tech demo. Like the actual like Steam VR tech demo is when that was.
Oh, dude, it's all about them. It's all about them VR dating sims.
But I haven't like. Oh man, some of that stuff's creepy. Fucking, have you seen that VR chat thing? That's fucking weird.
It's going in some weird directions, but I'm not surprised.
I did see like someone's already tried to do like a little MMO. That's pretty cool.
There's always one.
Yeah. It was like super simple, like the graphics for like just like blocks or something.
I gotta imagine, like, with the amount of time it takes to actually make an MMO, there's probably like a few in the works that you probably haven't seen yet.
I don't know if there are because there's not enough money in it. You know,
That's
the
true.
only AAA VR games are there's the ports of Skyrim and Fallout 4, and then Half-Life Alyx is the only like AAA 40 or 50 hour game
Yeah.
that isn't a port. Like Elite Dangerous is a game.
It's a... Now that I think about it, it is a super risky endeavor. Even a regular
there's no
MMO.
market.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. There's no market for it, and I don't know if there will, especially if the new consoles aren't going to do VR. I'm afraid it will die, which would suck because it's the future, man.
Have they... Hold on. For the new consoles, has there not been anything? Like, nothing at all?
They haven't said anything about VR.
That's a little,
And
concerning.
like they even gave token stuff for like the PS4. You know what I mean? Like they even came with that PSVR thing, right?
Yeah.
And it was garbage, but like it was still a thing.
It was like one more step into being mainstream.
Right. So like if one of those consoles is like, here you go, here's VR, then maybe, you know what I mean? And I know Valve is throwing money at it.
I don't even know, like...
So hopefully.
What is Valve doing? Like, what happened to their Steam shit?
I don't know what they've done to Steam.
Like, where's their Steam console? I thought that was a thing.
Oh, they just it's an OS for Linux now.
Is that what it
Instead
became?
of yeah, it's Steam OS, yeah.
What about their
Like
controller?
they're still throwing money. I mean, yeah, they still got the controller. I think they stopped making them and they sold them all because they're not very good.
Like, I thought they were doing like a whole Steam box thing. I guess they scrapped that.
I mean, yeah, they I think they came out with a couple, but they were like partners. Like here's Corsair's Steam box, or whatever. But they just what they done instead of they have their own open source like Linux distro.
Huh.
That's Steam OS, right?
Yeah.
And it's basically in big picture mode. Like if you turn on big picture mode on your Steam client, that's basically the idea, right? Turn your computer into a console.
I guess the market was a bit too niche.
Well, I think what they're doing is they're hedging their bets in case Microsoft tries to do the Apple thing. That's right.
Oh yeah.
They're like, here's our walled garden. Here, DirectX isn't a thing you can use anymore. It's ours. And they aren't going to do that, but I think Valve had to cover their bases, right?
Yeah. Which is,
yeah,
I can see why.
Like it's cool that they dump a bunch of money. I think Valve did a lot of the work on like Vulkan, if I remember right. They're still pretty committed to the open source stuff. Like Steam VR is actually pretty. Like the Vive isn't even Valve's thing. That's just them going to HTC. Like here's an idea, come make it. Yeah, fuck. I want to play VR games again now. God damn it.
Well, you're gonna have a lot of time to do it.
Yeah, I gotta go drive 2.5 hours to New Braunfels.
Are you like working your way backwards with consoles?
What's up?
You like working because you started with the Switch and then you went to the GameCube. And then...
Oh yeah, I've been like playing through all my game libraries that I haven't like finished because I have nothing else to do but that and study for cert. There's nothing I can do from home at work right now because there's no school, there's no kids there, no teachers there. Nobody needs the phones to do anything except forward calls to cell phones.
True enough. Do you even own like a Wii or a Wii U?
No, I skipped that.
Yeah, figured as much.
I think my mom bought a Wii when I was in high school, and I was like, the Wii's fucking stupid.
To be honest, I don't even know like if it has a worthwhile library even today.
It's got a huge library. I just don't know what's good on it. I think
exactly right.
I've been like looking up stuff to play because like Dolphin can do Wii games, right?
Oh yeah.
But I don't know. I think I got told to do Xenoverse if I like JRPGs. I like the Switch. Like that's the only console out of this generation that I was like, oh yeah, you know what? I like that. I'll get one of those. Yeah. It's got a lot of garbage on it though. Yeah, I know, right? I was like looking it through it the other day and I was like, what the fuck is this? Buy this? Who's letting their kids buy this? Fucking like Jedi Knight, Jedi Academy was on it. I was like, what the? You can buy Jedi Outcast on the Switch. I was like, what on earth? This is a weird port, but okay. I'm down.
I'm getting that weird Joy-Con drift where like you're not even touching the left stick, but it's moving.
Oh, it moves. That sucks.
Yeah.
It hasn't done that yet.
I didn't even know what it like. I heard of the drift, but I didn't even know what it was until this started happening. And I was like, what the fuck is this?
It sucks that they're expensive too. Like they're kind of chintzy.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm worried that mine's gonna like die because it only lives in the dock basically.
Well, I mean,
I'll never do the Game Boy thing.
I don't see why you would die unless you had like a surge or something.
It gets hot.
Oh, well, yeah.
When it's sitting in here, it gets pretty hot.
That's true.
But, like I've actually liked the Pro controller. It's a decent thing. It's not good, but it's okay. It's weird that the triggers aren't triggers; they're buttons.
Yeah,
the trigger shaped buttons.
That's kind of weird.
There's no analog. I'd forgotten that was a thing. Like every game I've bought on the Switch has been pretty good. Like all the first party stuff is like really.
Oh yeah.
It's up there.
I like it's becoming a lot like my Steam account. I have way too many games that I haven't played yet.
I've been only buying the really good Switch games, and that's paid.
There's a lot to go through. Surprisingly.
Like it's mostly just Nintendo stuff. Like what's on this thing right now? Yeah, Xenoblade Chronicles 2, which is a pretty good JRPG.
Did you
the new Pokemon kind of suck.
Did you get the definitive edition of the first one or whatever?
Of
Xenoblade?
I haven't gotten that. I don't think that's out.
Oh,
I hadn't played that one.
Oh shit.
I think that comes out in May. Like Xenoverse 1 is getting ported to the Switch. I hadn't played that one yet, so I figured I'd pick that up. Animal Crossing's pretty good. Smash is Smash. The new Fire Emblem was really good. I like that. I like that a lot.
Yeah, I gotta get back to that.
Zelda's fucking great.
Sequel coming? Oh yeah.
Oh dude, yeah, that gives me like Majora's Mask vibes. That like trailer they did at E3 or whenever that was.
Nintendo Direct. Nintendo Treehouse.
It was the one during E3, right? I got Mario Tennis apparently. Oh yeah, the new Sonic was on the Switch, and that was pretty good.
Was it? I didn't even look at it.
It was like the old school Sega Sonics.
Ah, okay. Have you ever tried the Mario and Sonic Olympics?
No, I haven't. Splatoon's pretty good.
The second one now.
That's their shooter that's on the Switch, their first party. Oh yeah, that was the weirdest thing I'd ever seen. I was like, what are they doing? But apparently it's pretty good. All right, I guess I gotta go to bed. I'll catch y'all later.
All right, later, man.
See it?
Ryan, do you remember those ATI cards we used to get?
What?
Did you ever get I can't remember.
Are those the Radeon one series?
Yeah. Do you remember, like, I can't remember what number that we had. What series, I mean.
That was a long time ago. I can't remember anymore.
That was a weird period. You still playing?
No.
Wow.
Trying to decide if I want to play Tarkov or not.
Don't do it. I have a pretty good setup right now with Chris and Eric being my scout dudes, which is weird because I set up Riley to be a scout dude.
Yeah?
I set up Riley to be a scout dude, but I don't often put him in the scout mechs for some reason. I should start doing that. It's a really good strategy. I think you should give it a try if you in your game. I would.
What is it?
If you have, let's say, you can drop 6 mechs now, right?
Mm-hmm.
I would go with like 3 or 4 bruiser type setups. Like, obviously, I don't know, like your Thunderbolt would be a bruiser, right? Like something that can either take a hit or throw a punch, right? Or like, you know, like your mainstay mechs would be 3 or 4 of them have your mainstay like heavy hitters. Have like at least 2 to 3 like support style mechs, like either like have them be like a back, like, you know, behind the lines like support guy that can, like a LRM boat or something, and then have like in of those 3 like support mechs, have 1 or 2 of them be like fast fuckers, like something that's speedy, that has like good, well, not good, but that can, you know, kidney punch someone from the side, right? Like I would think the Osiris makes a good mech for this. A Raven might be good at some. Basically, it just needs to go fast and it needs to have a little bit of a punch to it. Cause like the strategy that I have now is I have my Uziel and my Champion, which are both fast mechs. I send them to scout ahead for like the heavy hitters and the missile mechs, and then I always keep them sprinting around. And the enemy tends to fire at them the most, and they can't hit him, or they have a really hard time hitting him, which means they draw the fire away from your other mechs. It's really good. Like I barely take any damage in matches because like they just draw the fire.
Okay.
And I was gonna say, if you like, I don't know, because you're still trying to assemble a lance right now, but if you get the opportunity, I would give it a try. Like, I don't know. Like, I would recommend the Osiris, but it doesn't need to be an Osiris. You can get any fast light mech will do. Probably something better. Well, you could like you could even use a commando, but I would probably recommend something a little more beefier than a commando. But a commando will work.
I sold it.
Oh, okay, well, I'm trying to think. There's you have options. Like I would recommend being able to move 7 to 10 What I mean by that is I'm looking at the movement. If you hover over it, it says max move 7 hexes, max sprint 10 hexes. So a 710. My champion and my Uziel both have 710. By the way, I'd be careful.
Hmm?
I'd be careful on, I was playing last night and the game fucking debated me. I was going through a system. I was passing through a system to get to another system, but then I noticed I want to hire a pilot in that system. So I left the jump ship to go to the, system, right? And it only took like a couple days to get there. I hired the pilot. When I was heading back to the jump ship, instead of taking me like 3-4 days, it was gonna take me 78 days.
The hell? Why?
Yeah, I don't. It must have been a bug or something, but like, I was like, what the fuck? That's over 2 months worth of pay. Just to get to the fucking jump ship, just to get back to the jump ship. It was like, what the fuck? So, I mean, I guess I just I reloaded that game, but it was like, yeah, watch out for that. Just in case.
That's dumb.
Ryan, should I bother building up reputation with House Kirita?
Hmm?
I guess I could try.